We have heard it said that every human being on earth want to experience a satisfied life. And to speak of a satisfied life, they're usually talking about their needs, their wants, and their desires met at their leisure. Every human being on earth. Now, having been here for a while, that would basically include, for the most part, but not limited to, food and clothing, shelter and education, and health care and transportation, and infrastructure, and so many other things. You've also heard it said that if you don't work, you don't eat, which insinuates that if you're on earth by yourself, everything that we just mentioned will require something of you. You can call it work, you can call it a job, you can call it a career, but whatever it means that you got to do something in order to eat, which means in order to live. Now, you have heard it said that there's a way of living in a different place than here on earth. We see how we live here on earth. It doesn't represent what we say we want. But there's a place, someplace else we've been taught called heaven. And in heaven, everything is all right. Everything comes out the way it is supposed to come out. Here you suffer a lack of food, clothing, shelter, education, health care. You don't suffer any of that in heaven. Here you suffer your needs, your wants, and your desires being met. But you don't suffer that in heaven. And the question is, if this can happen in heaven, why doesn't it happen here? And the answer is because there are different principles that are exercised in heaven. In heaven, we exercise the principles that allow that type of outcome to occur. Down here, we express a different kind of principle that allow what happened here to happen. We express principles that allow you to lie, to cheat, to steal, to hate, and that creates racism and bigotry. That creates terror and killing and even war. All of that comes from a basic principles that we express here on this earth. So, if we want to live not like we live on this earth, but as we live in heaven, we have to change the principles. We have to renew our mind. We have to get rid of the stuff that we have been taught. When I say we, I'm talking about human beings have been taught ever since we've been on earth. Ever since human beings have been on earth, they've been taught to follow suit to what we do now. If we want to change, want something different, we have to change. So somebody said in order to do that, you have to recognize that God is not a human being. God is power. Much, and that's all we can say. I have not seen my eyes have not rested on God, and I don't think anyone else has either. So as far as I know, God is invisible. And yet, the evidence of God's existence is all around us. All of that which is good, because that which is not, we know that is the result of we the people. So, if on earth you got to eat to survive, that means you got to work. Now, the thing of it is, we all have no problem with that. We all know we want to have a satisfied life. We just don't know how to do it. And trying to follow the ways that humankind, what black men have tried to teach us, what white men have tried to teach us, what women have tried to teach us, and men have tried to teach us, all lead to the same outcome: hell. So I suggest that if we actually want to that which is a satisfying life, that we practice those principles that they don't happen here. First of all, that we care about that power that we don't see that's responsible for the earth, that's responsible for all of the stuff that we need in order to survive. All of that given to us. We have to respect that power. And the only way we can respect that power is by respecting one another. Respecting one another and each one of our access to benefit from which that power, which is responsible for all of us being here. And our next is to make sure we're responsible for the earth, the maintenance of this earth that produces all of that which we need to make sure that we don't run out. And having respected that, you got your an idea that you have a job or career. Now you have the choice to choose the one that gives you your greatest joy. Always remember, you have the choice to choose that which gives you your greatest joy, so you don't have anything to complain. Then all the other stuff like peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and happiness and being able to live your dreams, that's a byproduct of respecting one another, meaning you're respecting God, and you're utilizing a gift that you have chosen to use to participate in the process of creating this which we say will help us to have a satisfied life. So you got everybody working, doing what they love doing, utilizing the resources that are given to us free, and we are creating those essentials that we have determined are absolutely necessary for our survival and our happy, satisfied life. We're doing that. And we don't have any reason to do any of those other things. Now, what I have just shared with you, ladies and gentlemen, are basic, simple principles. Me, I'm a simple man. Simple principles that would allow us, if we utilize them, to live not like we're in hell, but to live like we are in heaven. Now, I want to say to you, there is not a white man on earth that will commit their lives to carry through a program such as that, or even advocate for it. Now, there are white people that are kind enough to recognize that. They're not that many, but they are here. The problem is they are the product of this hell that we have on earth, and they are not going to engage in trying to change it. They'll talk against it, but they're not going to fight against it. They were able to fight the Civil War, but they wouldn't for sin. They won't be able to fight for righteousness because basically they don't believe in righteousness. They were taught that righteousness is another plane of life. What about black people? Well, a black man is telling you this, and we do know black men who have been killed because of this. We know that there are black men who have been killed because their understanding of God and righteousness meant that they were not supposed to bend over to hell. See, it's like this nation and other nations of the world. It's like, let's just use Diddy, P. Diddy for a moment, because they've been talking about P. Diddy. And P. Diddy was supposedly very cruel and abusive, according to the information that we've been given. And let's look at the rest of the people who want to go into show business, who want to be stars, who want to make a lot of money. So we go to Diddy, which represents the nation, and say this is what we want. And in order to get that, Diddy abuses us, the ones that's trying to get in there. That's the nation abusing the people who are trying to reach that status in life. You got the nation doing the same thing to the people, and the people submitting and bending over to the nation, just like the people bending over and giving in to Diddy. That's what Mega has done, bending over, giving in. But see, here's the key. Evil is evil, and the opposite is the opposite. Evil is going to be evil. The opposite is going to be the opposite. The opposite is not going to go over there and bend over to Diddy. The opposite is not going to bend over to the sins of the world, the evils of the world. For whatever reason, they're not going to do it. Why? Because they are the opposite. They are the candles with a little bit of the light. They are the lights that shine to the fact that you can have peace and prosperity and freedom and joy. These are the ones that says you can have happiness and live your dreams instead of dreaming them. These are the ones who, yes, sometimes they have to go into the lion's den. Sometimes they have to go to the fire furnace. Sometimes they just have to stand up and get on a cross. But they are not bending. Now, black men have done that. I know that for a fact. That you, offhand, you know Dr. King and Malcolm X, these guys, and Medgar Evers, and so many others. Those white people who've been killed too in the struggle. So I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I'm not trying to say that black people are better than white people. I know that there's a better conduct that will produce a better outcome, and whoever walks according to that better, that would produce that better outcome, that's the one who stands up for themselves. I don't know what color it might be, but you'll know the evidence that they produce indicates that they are exactly what we're talking about. So I'm saying here to Americans today, and I'm saying to people all over the earth, all of us are playing to the devil. All of us are playing to evil. Even when we do research and find out that maybe Jesus wasn't white, maybe Jesus was black, or maybe the Bible was so corrupted that you don't even know the truth of there anything. The Bible might be corrupted as they want to be, but human beings got the right to justice. They got the right in their being. It's planted there. You know what's right. Even though you end up doing what's wrong, you know what's right. You don't want anybody doing anything that's wrong to you. Teaching you, you know what's right. So, my saying these things to you, basically, is to give you some information, maybe another thought, or just bringing back to your mind the thoughts that you've already had. But the bottom line is, we are living in hell. When you see Donald Trump and Megha set up and lie to the people, trying to mislead the people, and the people are blind as a bat, they don't know what to believe. But because they got a little hatred in them that's been planted about other races, other colors of people, they'll go along with whoever might be telling a lie that says it's for them and not against the other. That's evil. That's evil. Here it is. Every man, every human being on the face of the earth should have food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, and an infrastructure. Every human being on earth should represent that, should stand for that. Everybody on earth should work, engage themselves in a process to take care of these things. And all this other stuff that you want to trade with different bodies or people, different places, that's all right. But the foundational stuff, food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and infrastructure, and stuff like that. Stuff that demands that you would have peace. Stuff that would assure that you can have your needs, your wants, and your desires met. These things assure that. You don't have to be worried about having your guns. You don't have to be talking about that they are demons. They are from the rot of hell. They are against you. You never gonna get anywhere because they robbing you. They eating your animals. I mean, what is that? You know, they say we're living in the last days, but the last days don't mean necessarily that we got to be going into war. Last days could mean that we've decided to wake up. The last days might mean, basically, that we've decided that no human being is above the law, that no human being is above justice. We might just mean that all the trash and ghettos, time for that stuff to end because we can see beauty in life. That, to me, is better in the time story. So I would rather work toward that kind of end rather than fire burning everybody else forever and never stop burning. No, let's start living forever and never have to worry about crime, never have to worry about violence, never have to worry about cheating and stealing and all that kind of stuff. Let's wake up and live that kind of life. Woo! You ready? Let's do it.